Okay, so you've just finished your CA essay articles, or you're currently in the trenches surviving on pure willpower and coffee, and perhaps you're wondering to yourself, is this it? Is this my life now? Or perhaps there's something else out there for me. Well, guys, today I'm here to discuss your options outside of audit, how to strategize now while you're studying, while you're doing your articles, and hopefully to debunk some of the myths we've all been told about the CASA career path. For those of you who are new, hello, I'm Maddie. I am now an eligible CASA. I haven't paid Psycha my membership fees, but I will do that at some point. I'm an ex-EYer. And now I work in finance for a US tech startup. But this video isn't about me. It's about giving you the real talk that I wish I had received when I did my CASA articles. So let's get into it. Let's start with the stories we all get told. You have to do audit overseas in order to be able to move there. You have to climb the ladder to a certain level in order to transition anywhere. You should stay in audit for as long as possible and climb that ladder because that's the safest option and that's what's going to guarantee you the money. And honestly, some of those things are true. Some of them, yeah, sure. But mostly, I feel like they're fear-based, and we're told that usually by people who haven't left audit or haven't experienced anything else, or if they have, it didn't work out so well for them. There is obviously the element of truth. Yes, perhaps it is an easier way to get overseas, or perhaps it is easier if you want to transfer in corporate to just get to manager level. Honestly, it might be true, but a lot of that comes down to what is your strategy, because if you want something else for yourself, there is a way of strategizing to get there. And just to clarify, as I mentioned, I did go to EY in Cape Town. I did my articles there, and honestly, I loved it. I really did. I look back on those years and I am so grateful because I met incredible people. I worked with such funny, amazing teams. I had cool clients. Yeah, and I learned really, really cool technical skills. They gave me the flexibility to learn the skills. It was like a playground for learning, and I really appreciated that. And another thing that people don't think about perhaps when they leave audit is that it's like a very unique place because there's so many people your age. It's quite rare to find that in other career paths where there's just like a bunch of 26-year-olds and all your friends. And that's a really special time. So if you're doing your articles now, keep that in mind. Be really happy and grateful for your friendships that you made in articles, because it may or may not be the case after you leave that you have a whole bunch of homies. Anyway, sorry, I digress. The point of this is not to bash auditing or corporate. To be quite frank, I think the world needs more auditors that are passionate about what they do and take pride in their work. And if that's you, then power. I think this is more for the folk that are like me, who just didn't quite gel with audit and are kind of feeling a bit stuck and being told a lot of the time that this is the only path for you in order to achieve what you want or to get anywhere in life. I had a partner tell me that he was, better off than his friends because he had stayed in audit and they had gone overseas or whatever. And while that might be true for his case, and I really hope that partner is happy in audit, it's not always the full truth. What it comes down to is having a strategy and having a plan now, having an idea of where you want to be in 5 to 10 years, and start building those blocks towards that goal right now. Like literally right now. Okay, cool, but like yada 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 Maddie, how do we get there? I'm going to give you my experience. Something that I realized pretty early on during my articles was that audit wasn't for me. And that's no shade. That's perfectly fine. It just wasn't. It wasn't what made me happy. Something that did make me happy, and I learned that actually, doing my articles, was data analysis and manipulating data and learning SQL or learning R. And I specifically made sure I worked on sections, particularly with the financial services clients, where it involved data extraction and mad calculations, nerdy stuff. And I realized that's what I really like. I like working with different systems, working with ChatGPT to figure out a solution to something. That's what made my brain light up. So I guess I had an understanding that I wanted to do something that was more in tech, that was more in financial analysis and data analysis. So I realized that while audit gave me the discipline and technical skills like Excel and general like team management, it didn't give me the skills that I would need to transition into those roles per se. So I started building those on the side. I luckily had zero experience. Zero as in the software for accounting. I have about 8 years of zero experience from bookkeeping during my studies, and I started hustling with tech companies, building the financials of tech companies. I did that on the side, and I'm not saying that everyone needs to have side hustles because audit is demanding. I'm fully aware. Working 80 hours a week and then having to do something else on the side is crazy. But I guess I had like a goal of where I wanted to be. And I thought, well, for 3 years, I can just put my head down and work because it makes me happy. And that's what I did. So that ultimately on my CV, it said that I've done X, Y, and Z on top of being able to audit. Again, I'm not saying that everyone needs to have crazy side hustles. What I am saying is that on your CV, it needs to say something other than I audited these clients. Because at the end of the day, when you leave your articled environment, you're all leaving with the same qualification, the CASA. So what will distinguish you? Quite simply, here's what I would have done if I had to redo my articles again. Number one is double down on Excel. Excel is going to carry you through probably most careers. And what I mean by that is learn more complex functions if you're not already using them. Replace a VLOOKUP with an XLOOKUP. Index match is also pretty similar. Sum filter. And there are tons of resources that will help you learn Excel. I can link them if you're interested. And this is a real case scenario. My current job requires that I be very good at Excel. And before I got it, I just didn't feel like I was there. And I had to do like a live interview where I had to do an Excel model. So to prep for that, I binge watched YouTube videos and I just studied Excel. And now I feel so confident in my abilities. Also, ChatGPT is a lifesaver when it comes to Excel formulae. But yeah, lots of free resources available if you want to double down on your Excel skills. Then for those of you who are interested in getting into finance, but don't want to go down the CFA route, the CFA route, that's your Chartered Financial Analyst, and it's a certification offered by the CFI. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming. I think it takes like 3 years. Then what I will suggest is the FMVA, Financial Modeling Valuations Analyst certification. That's also by the CFI, but it's not as expensive. It's a fraction of the price, and it's so useful. I did do it this year, and I mean, I use it all the time in my career. I've got templates that I use for my models. It was honestly such a helpful course. I don't know if I would have been hired without it. Anyway, so if you do have additional bandwidth to do something like that, it will take you a couple months. Definitely is pricey, but it is something that you can do during your articles, and it gives you that extra bit of qualification and relevant technical skills. I've even seen some finance roles being advertised that they need the FMVA qualification, so it's something to think about. P.S. I am not sponsored by CFI, so this is all my own praise, I promise. Then also, if you're interested in startups and tech, something more dynamic, start getting involved in that space. Read newsletters, read VC blogs. You can start simple by listening to Diary of a CEO on Spotify by Stephen Bartlett, just to get you in kind of that mindset of like, what are people who are investing in companies or building companies, what are they talking about? That's definitely something small that you can start doing. Then also number 4, we're not counting, but number 4 is build your LinkedIn platform now. I noticed a lot of people in my third year of articles, they started a LinkedIn that year, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. I think it's super helpful to have an online presence, even though it's annoying and social media is meh. It's really helpful to have an online presence where you can reach out to recruiters before the time comes so you have to leave and say, hey, listen, I'm interested in this and I have these skills and I audited these clients and how would you recommend I get there? Or do you know anyone in that space? It just kind of makes the recruiters or people in general aware of you. So if a job comes up that they find, they'll think, oh, Jerry, they'll be a good person for the role. Definitely don't wait till your third year to start your online presence. Then also another thing that people should start doing now is building something. And it can be simple as a Notion template or playing around with Metabase or even a YouTube video. Just something that adds to your personality, that you can put on your CV. I built this. It's so important to have tangible products that you've built, that you have applied your mind to besides auditing. Because as I said, you're all going to have the same qualification. To have something distinguishable is essential. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about AI, but I am constantly reminded about it, obviously because I work in tech, but it's so important to not dismiss it. It is here, and it is, whether we like it or not, going to replace a lot of our jobs. So you need to be not only aware of it, but actively using AI technology. And that at a very minimum would be your LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. And then, if you wanted to maybe branch out into point number 5, building a product. What if you used Cursor or Lovable to develop a website or an in-browser app? All of these tools, I think, are free. I think they're free. And they enable you to create a product pretty easily. You don't need coding experience, and it's something you can put on your CV. But yeah, definitely do not discount AI It is coming for us. And on that vein, I did ask ChatGPT to help me with the script because I feel like they just have a way with words. And something they said, which I will mention, even though it's cringe, they said, CASA can be your passport, but that doesn't mean it's your destination. And as lame as that sounds, it's so true. Your article's experience, the CASA path, is so broad and beautifully rich with skills. It's like a great foundation for any sort of job, probably except anything that involves talent like singing. You're not going to be an artist maybe, but it gives you a solid foundation for any other job path that you might desire. So some of those jobs that you could go into, honestly, this is an infinite list. These are just some things I'm spitballing here. But FP&A and strategy, that's kind of where I'm involved. And that's a really fun career path if you're interested in maths and you didn't quite make it in AXI. Then venture capital and investment. Consulting is a great career path. Education, so becoming a lecturer. Even product or consumer success, HR. Basically anything, because CASA has given you all of the building blocks. It's just about deciding, well, if I want to go into finance, what are the technical skills I need to get me there? All of these will involve chatting to people, finding out what they did to get there. So if you moved from audit into any of those or something else, please let me know in the comments and let us know how you got there. So coming back to the original ChatGPT point, the beauty of the CASA designation is that it's so flexible, gives you great building blocks. You just have to build your other technical skills on top of that in order to achieve something outside of audit if that's what you want. As a closing note, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like I'm going to be in audit forever and you don't want to be, then I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. You just need to start strategizing now. Articles gives you a solid foundation, but what you build next is your decision and you can start shaping it right now. I'd love to hear from you. Are you in your articles? Are you studying? What's going on? What are your fears? What are your plans? If you have left audit or if you're in audit or just in general, I'd love to hear everyone's feedback. If you'd like more advice in addition to what I gave you, I'm really happy to engage in the comments. I love doing that. So yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry I've been AWOL. I will try to be more consistent. But otherwise, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you.